Hi everyone, this is just a brief tutorial on the building DNA gizmo. I have the worksheet open on the left and then the gizmo open on the right. So you read through the objective, and each gizmo worksheet will have these instructions on it of how to find the gizmo. You only need to create an account once though. So you click on the link, and here is, if you have last name A through M, you use this code, or last name N through Z, you use this code to enroll in the class. If you've already created an account, please use that same login. We have a limited space for each course or each enrollment, so we want to make sure that each student will get into the gizmo. If you're having trouble getting in, if it says there's not enough room, just let me know. Please use your Minos username and password when you're making the account. This just makes everything a lot easier because you're just using the same username and password that you use to log into your courses on Blackboard. That way, you don't have to think of like a million different passwords or a million different usernames. So please use your Minos username and password. Once you're in the course, you'll find the Building DNA gizmo, and then you'll click Launch Gizmo, and then the screen will pop up that looks like this on the right. The worksheets usually start the same. There's vocabulary. Sometimes there's a prior knowledge questions or a couple things you should answer before you jump into the gizmo. This one does not. It just has a short introduction. We have a Gizmo Warmup. Those are usually just to let you kind of play around with how things work on the actual gizmo. So you'll look through and you'll just answer the questions. Like question 1 is, what are the two DNA components shown in the gizmo? So we see nucleosides and we see phosphates. So a nucleoside is the base and the sugar, and when you add that phosphate group to it, that's how it becomes the nucleotide. So again, we have our nucleoside, we have the sugar in the base, and now we've added a phosphate, and so this is a nucleotide, and these are like the building blocks of the DNA molecule. I don't know what happened here. This just should say how many, there we go. I'll just delete that right now while I'm here. So how many different bases do you see? So, for example, we see adenine, cytosine, guanine, and thymine. So how many different bases are that? Or how many bases are there in DNA? All right, so for the actual activity, you're going to build your DNA molecule, and again, you do that by dragging, and you can do whatever order you want, dragging the sugar and the base, and you need to connect them by the phosphate. And you'll notice that your when you're done building it, you may get some messages saying like your leading strand can't start with a phosphate, or it should start with a phosphate, and so just that'll show up right here in red. So all that means is you just need to make sure you either start with the phosphate, like this strand, and then this strand over here you should end with the phosphate group. Okay, so once you have your molecule built, you'll just list here what your left side looks like, and then what you think the right side should look like. So remember the base pairing rules. So adenine pairs with thymine, and cytosine pairs with guanine. You always can take a picture by clicking on this camera here, and that will give you like a screenshot, and that'll be what you use to either paste it. Usually I want you to paste them at the end of the document just so you don't screw up the formatting of the rest of the questions. So for number 5, you're just explaining what makes up the sides of the DNA molecule, what makes up the rungs. Well, think of like the rungs or the steps of a ladder. And then your base pairing rules here, so what does adenine join with? And then for this one, I want you to, here's a given DNA molecule, I want you to create the right side of it. So you can either draw it, or you can just list it too. Like if you just want to list the bases, that's fine. You can just make a list over here. For number 8, we're getting into replication. So what you're going to do is, once you have your DNA molecule all built, you will hit the reset button. And so what I'm actually going to do is pause my recording quick, build the DNA molecule, and then I'll be able to show you this. Okay, so I have my DNA molecule built, and I will point out during activity A, once you've completed the left side of your DNA molecule, new nucleotides will come up here, and so that's how you complete the other side. You don't have to worry about like flipping them or anything. So it says here to just release the enzyme, so you'll click here, release the enzyme, and then just observe what's happening. And then you are going to release the DNA polymerase, And then now you have new nucleotides. Remember, it's got the base, sugar, and the phosphate, so now we have a nucleotide. And you are going to put it to help build that new DNA molecule. Once you have both of the new molecules created, make sure to take a picture, same thing, camera up here, and you can add that to the end of this document. And then just a think and discuss question of why DNA replication is such an important process. So like, why do we need to make a copy of DNA? And then think about sometimes mutations can occur. So what are some possible consequences if there's like a mismatch of DNA, or if certain parts of the DNA don't get copied? So what are some things that can happen there? So again, this is just a short introduction. Really just read through the instructions. They're put there for you for a reason. So make sure to read through so you know exactly what you're supposed to be answering. And if you have any questions, send me an email, phone call, text, or anything like that, and we can try to figure it out together. All right.